Hey everyone, welcome to your gentle hip stretch, yoga stretch. This is a class that anyone can do at any time. You do not need any props for today's flow. And let's begin on our mat. Our feet are gonna go wider than hip width. So just finding a stance that works for you. Knees knock in slightly towards each other. And just drop your legs from one side back to center and to the other. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop. Just a couple more times to each side. So this is going to help relieve any tightness in the hips, the low back. Just helping to bring a little bit more flexibility to them. And then the next time you are to your right, just allow them to hold there. Align your hips and knees in line with each other. So you're in this deer stance pose. Your front knee is in line with your hip. Your back knee is in line with your left hip. Walk your hands behind you and just lean back any amount. Really try to anchor that left hip, that left leg down, an internal hip rotation. And then we'll come back through to center, and this time really internally rotate that hip so you're allowed to lean forward any amount and see if you can come to your arms. If you have to stay up on your hands, perfectly fine. Just find a pose that feels good to you here. Deep breath in. And then come all the way through to center. Let's go to the other side. Lift those knees up. Allow them to drop over. So you should be facing the back of your mat. Realign yourself if needed. Front knee is in line with that left hip. Back knee is in line with that right hip. Walk your hands back behind you. Lean back as much as you can. Anchor that hip down, that internal rotation, so that the knee isn't popping up. If the knee is popping up, you've gone too far. Just come back out of the pose. Deep breaths here. And then we'll come through to center. Align yourself if needed. And just begin to fold any amount over that front leg. Deep breath in. And come all the way up through to center. Bring those knees back through to center. And then just bring the soles of your feet together. Your knees will go nice and wide. And we'll just do a cat-cow variation from here. So as you inhale, arch through the back. Lean that chest forward. And as you exhale, arch through. Tuck that belly button into the spine. Inhale for your cow pose variation. And as you exhale, lean back for that cat pose variation. Keep going. And just one more cycle wherever you are. Beautiful. Sit up nice and tall. And from here, let's come on to our hands and knees. Wrist underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Press down into that left top of your foot. Kick that right leg behind you, bending at the knee, and just take some knee circles. So these can be super big if you'd like, or they can be nice and small. Reverse, going the opposite way. Don't worry if you hear any cracking or creaking here. As long as you're not in pain, that's perfectly fine. Set that knee down, other leg, press down into the top of that right foot. Left leg goes up behind you and just take some circles. Let's go the opposite way. Beautiful. Set that knee down. Walk your hands out in front of you and lift those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here, just getting a nice big full body stretch. Pedaling the knees in one after the other if that feels good to you. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Beautiful. From here, you're just going to drop those knees down towards the mat. Swing your legs out in front of you. And come to have a seat. Take that right foot, place it just over top of that left knee. And then you're going to bend that left leg so your knee is up. And you decide how intense you want this stretch. The closer you scoot yourself to your left heel, the more intense the stretch will be. Bring your hands behind you, and I like to just rock a little from side to side. So I find that lets me get a little deeper into the hips. Beautiful. And then just release, shake out those legs. And let's go to the other side. Left foot comes just over top of that right knee, so we don't want it directly on the knee. Bend into that right leg. Scoot yourself forward any amount. And just rock a little from side to side. So I don't know if you can see on camera how bad the bugs are out here. Whew. Brutal. And then just go ahead and release. Shake out those legs. And come to have a seat. Lying down on your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give them a little squeeze here. And then we'll move into our happy baby pose. So drawing the knees towards the outside of the ribs, towards the armpit area. And you can stay here if this feels good enough to you, or grab the outside of those feet. Feet are flex up towards the sky and draw those knees down, happy baby pose. And again, you can choose to maybe rock a little from side to side if that feels good in your body. And And then go ahead and release. Hug those knees once again back into your chest. And just a little pumping motion here to release that low back. So as you inhale, press the knees away from you. And exhale, draw them in. Inhale to press away from you. Exhale, draw them in. Inhale, press away from you. And exhale, draw them in. And from here, you can choose to send the legs out long if that feels good to you, just taking a hot moment here. Or for these quicker classes, I usually just like to come to a nice seated pose, cross-legged, spine is nice and long. And just close the eyes for one moment. Bring the hands together, palms to touch in front of your heart. And give yourself thanks and gratitude for committing to yourself today, committing to your health and to your well-being. Let's bow forward and we say namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today for your quick, gentle hip stretch. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell button to be notified every time I release a new video. Make sure you like this video and don't forget to share it with your friends and family. Until next time, I can't wait to see you then.